Okay. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning, our listeners. My name is Veronica Njane. I will take you through today's recording on the heart of neurodiversity caregiving, right? So I will allow you to introduce yourselves, and then we can start. So we can start to my left.
My name is Hans Kipkorir.
My name is Biltodoche.
Okay.
My name is Pauline Lagat.
Okay.
I'm Moses Lagat.
Okay. Welcome all to the show. So we're here because we'd like to understand more about your journeys. We are seeing this as an opportunity for growth, an opportunity to keep the conversation on neurodiversity caregiving going, right? So I would like you to share your story. Can you describe the moment you first realized you are stepping into a caregiving role, either intentionally or unexpectedly? We can start with the Kipkorirs.
The first time when we realized that we were stepping into this caregiving role was when the occupational therapist just told us to go down to see the nutritionist. And we realized that we were going to remove some of the foods that she loved eating, and basically meal planning for a wheat-free, sugar-free, dairy-free kind of menu. That was quite something. And despite that also, with also the intensity or the frequency of the therapies that she needed at that time, made us to go back and sit down. How will you be able to maneuver about it? Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I think pretty much that represents that initial time. I think the realization that we needed to go for those checks to start with, to go and sort of understand in the first place what all this is about, because I remember one of our family friends, the lady is a counselor, psychologist, I think. And so when she had mentioned to us, it looks like there's a delay in Abby's milestone, particularly in speech. And so we said, we'll find time and we'll go and check. But I think then later on, after we had thought, okay, let's take her to school, and probably from school this will just sort itself out. And then it actually happened that when she was in school, she was a bit restless, and at some point, the earlier days were good, but then at some point now she was just crying.
Okay.
And so the teachers were feeling, okay, there's much more to this than just discomfort from a child. And that, I think, threw us the way of getting to meet different practitioners, different specialists in the space of just child development.
Okay.
And from there now, with those tests, and now with the realization that we actually have a situation that this child is in, and it is all of us tied in it. Yeah, so I think those initial days, the school tried to connect us to a parent, I think, who also has an autistic child. And I think from there, that sharing, the old man called us by that evening, and he was encouraging us, letting us know, there are some things we can try. And I think settling in, that was the initial feeling of we are getting into something.
Wow.
The fact that someone was calling to encourage means we were getting into a journey.
Okay.
So that's my initial fear.
Okay. Oh, very encouraging, eh? It's the Lagats. Yes.
Okay. For me, I think it is a process. This thing, there's one thing you have to understand. One thing you have to understand with this is that most of the time there's a lot of denial. You have a lot of denial. Before you even accept it, you go through a lot of denial yourself that you see things, but at the back of your mind, there's an instinct. You feel this is not right. This is different. Especially for us, we had an older girl, so she was that fast girl. Everything was very, very fast in terms of milestone and everything. And then now here we have a second born who everything is okay. Initially it was okay because even the birth was normal and everything, but after 1 year, maybe say 1 year, because even the movement, he didn't crawl. He started walking at 1 year. Actually, it was 15 months. So even walking, he just woke up one day and started walking. But we had waited, we anticipated, and I remember most of the time we were asking, and we started saying, "Is it a boy thing, or is it just something that happens?" But in that time, we didn't realize there was something, but you could see there was a difference. Okay. So where I started feeling like, now here I think is it reached a point where I felt he was having an extreme emotions. His emotions were extreme, more than you'd expect in a child. Yeah, so there's a point even disciplining was so much of an issue. And I remember at some point we were seeing some pediatrician asking about the milestone and all that. And I think what they said is, they take time. Before 6 years, you cannot actually say that this is what is happening. The children who just delay and all that. So it took time. And one thing for me, let me speak this on myself. I know there's some instinct. I felt that there were a number of things you feel this was off. Even the way he responded to everything, you could feel there was a difference. Okay. Now, the moment where I felt, hey, this one, I think we are now moving forward. And we need to change our perspective on how to deal with this. By 5, he had not done toileting. And I remember even when we went to school the first time, it was very tricky. Because this is somebody who is 5 years old. He started at 5 because it was post-COVID. So, when we went to school, it was the trickiest part because now I didn't know whether to, you don't even know whether to take him to a normal school, to a special school. There's no report that has shown that there's anything wrong. It's you're just navigating. Yeah. But at the back of your mind, you're feeling this is not what should happen. This is different. So I think I started accepting in a way because you cannot start caregiving before you accept. Absolutely. Most of the time there's a lot of denial in it, so you cannot start caregiving without accepting it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I think that part I started accepting because even when he went to school, it was too violent. Wow. Yes, too violent. You were called, and it is true because even at home, and it was a bit tricky. Because every time you are called, this is a school, and the school that we went to that time, I was not in Nairobi. I remember it was not an integrated school or a special, so it's just a normal school, and there were no integrated schools anyway there, nor even special schools there. So this is a scenario whereby you have to just interact with the teachers and understand each other on how to take care of this kid. That is where, for me, I started accepting that, I think we are dealing with a different person. Wow. And then the part that really touched me, where I knew this is different, when I had now my third born, her milestone became way too ahead. Yes, before him. So he was like the baby in the house. Wow. Yes. Wow. That's what I would say.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And Dr. Lagat, what was the impact? Yeah, what was the impact? Thinking back, listening to what Pauline has shared, what was the impact on you as you're seeing your son going through this different development?
Initially, I wondered whether this is a boy thing, and I even asked her, am I this slow like my son? And I had to even ask my mom whether I was this slow. Okay. So, because the first thought was natural thing, that it's a boy thing. Okay. Yeah. And then also I looked back at our dating and everything. I was like, why is I slow like this when I was dating you and everything else? It's a boy thing. Well, what I would say is that there was no defining moment, because progressively you are bargaining and negotiating. So my bargaining tool was that he's just a boy. Okay. and hopefully he will catch up.
Okay.
Like all men do, some will catch up. If they catch up at all. Yeah, and then you grow into it. So progressively you have reports from school, from interaction with friends, interacting with your child, looking at your third born, and then you're like, now this is it. And then though you've done your ordinary diagnosis, so I think one of the biggest challenges is to get proper diagnosis, because I think we had the best pediatricians to review our child, and we didn't get a defining. It's only after getting a report from school that you need to take your child for assessment, and we were told what to do. Then we did that.
Okay, wow, thank you. So to Millie and Hans, caregiving is full of unexpected challenges, right? Are you able to single out one or two moments that you felt tested you the most, and how did you navigate it?
I think one of the things that comes to my mind is probably what Dr. Lagat has alluded to, because everyone is avoiding telling you the truth. Because I think even the specialists we saw, the neurologists, I think the development, we went to a professor, I think, at the Can, who still did not tell us directly what we were up against. And so it was just some medication that we needed to work through. And so there was the immediate sort of getting into some sort of action, but you really don't know what it is all about. I would say for me the only person who really reassured us surprisingly was the occupational therapist, because he looked at our girl and he said, this girl is autistic. So I don't know why the doctors didn't, or I don't know whether they struggled or they felt it was too much to tell us. I think for me, I would say that is the one place I feel I struggled with. I thought, for me, I almost felt it was very direct, like the way if we are stuck on something and we call Dr. Lagat, he would just give us scenarios and say, okay, so consider this, and so it will really be almost forthright. Probably it's a new thing. So I think I would say for me that is the one place I really struggled with, because after now we had been told and we knew we were on this path. We knew then what to do. But the departure point was and just someone being forthright and telling me. I felt probably the doctor or the specialist in a way let us down. Yes. Because there are things we would have asked about. Even when you are, trying to get to know what is it that this girl is going to have to eat, for example. We were sort of fumbling, because you see, if we had some clarity, in the earlier days, we would probably have settled a little bit faster than now the situation that we have to keep trying. And so this person says this. And family also will keep on giving you suggestions, ideas. And so you are really lost, yet the place you find sort of refuge in the present day is probably in medicine, because there's research and these things are already in existence. But sometimes I've also rationalized and said, probably the doctor is also a parent. He or she just didn't probably find the right words to tell us. But I think that was for me the struggle.
The struggle, and how you navigated it, the occupational therapist helped quite a bit.
Yes. I'm really grateful to our first occupational therapist, a very nice gentleman called Mark from, I think then he was at Karen Hospital, but I think he's left. But he was just forthright. He told us, as is, on the first day, says, do you guys know the situation? Just looked at her for like 5 minutes. Say, I think your child is autistic. And it's a journey that you can walk, so don't feel discouraged.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think for me, I felt that was the place. Yes, I started this journey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Millie, how was it for you? Can you single out a moment that was...
That was quite challenging.
Yeah, and how did you handle it?
Wow. I think one was when she's literally crying. You do not know if she's hungry. You do not know if she wants to go to the toilet. You're basically trying to be the mom and also trying to rationalize. So this emotion, I have to keep it here, and here. But after some time, I realized that I had to look at before the event, before the cry, before a particular emotion, and after. So we realized that if it's 10, 11 a.m. and she quite has the appetite, when you don't give her a snack, she will be up. So we realized, okay, number one, so by 11:30, she needs to have something in her stomach. So we realized that once I sort out the hunger, she's okay. Number two, when we enter into a crowded place, she's also up in her emotions. So once people are just out, she settles down.
Wow. Okay.
So we realize that in church, we'll be taking turns because she does not want to get into church. She does not want to go there for her. So you'll have to take her to the field to go and play.
Wow.
Or if some few kids try to pull her here and there so that they can go and play with her. Yes.
Wow.
So I realized that journaling is also important for me to actually just to be able to understand her. Yeah. So every day is a learning progress.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Pauline and Dr. Lagat?
One moment that I would point out that was most challenging is there's a time, okay, Dr. was not there. You know, for me, one of the most challenging part is at some point I was with these kids alone. Yes, so, and there were 4. So you see, the others are young, and here he is, he's a baby, literally. Yeah, so for me, one of the most challenging part is there's a point he got sick at in the evening. And then remember, the place that you were in, there were no very good hospitals. And I didn't even know that some of these conditions, I actually learned later on in a certain group that these kids, when they get sick, it becomes extreme. Even when they get, like him, I remember that day he had a temperature of like 40 something. Yes, and then he convulsed. Me, I'm there. I have no experience. I have nothing. For me, that was very challenging. And then there are no hospitals. It's at night. It's this is Nairobi at least.
Wow.
You can take a child somewhere, and you are there. The child is convulsing, and you're with the kid.
Wow.
I had to become a doctor. I don't know how, but one way or the other, I had to become a doctor for the kid.
Okay.
So I remember I took the kid. I just opened shower and put him there, and he literally woke up. And then I called a lady who did. There's a lady who used to operate a chemist, a pharmacist. I called her and she told me to take the child there. And then there were some things which were administered. I think for me that was the most challenging because I saw my child going literally.
Wow.
Yes. And it was such a very, very, very challenging moment for me. Yeah, I would point out that was for me was a very, very challenging moment.
Yeah. And it all turned out well once you got the help you got.
Actually, it helped me because subsequently I even learned how to help when there's such a scenario.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
So for me, there are many things I can talk about. One is challenges at work and family, because as careers grow, organizations do not consider families. So we were basically separated for 3 years. So I have had to work in the city and traveled to. So you go there, you can see how helpless your wife is. You need to be there, you try. So I used to try 2-3 days a week and then commute, and then the rest of the week you can't commute because it was 109 kilometers.
Wow.
So you figure out you're better off alive than dead on the road. so that you're able to show up. Then, of course, one of the biggest challenge will be days he doesn't want to sleep. So I figure out walking. You walk for 1 hour, sometimes 2 hours. By 1 hour, I'm tired. And he has the energy. He still wants to walk. Yeah. The most amazing, there's a day I walked up to 12 o'clock from 10 o'clock because we were restless.
PM. They do it
10
at
PM.
night.
So we get out at 10, we walk up to 12.
So energy bursts come in.
Energy burst. If you try to calm him down, you'll lose your head. And then there are some days that I'm not able to calm him down. I have to ask my elder daughter. And she has the language. I have no idea what she does to him.
I'm good for her, yeah?
Yeah, and of course, it has taught me a lot. I'm a fixer. I fix things. So one of the things that this child has taught me is to stop fixing. I've been humble and trusting the process. And
Absolutely.
I wake up, and now where he is, I negotiate. I ask him, what do you want to do? How are you feeling? Then I affirm, okay, I understand you're feeling the way you are. Yeah, but let's figure out what better way.
Yeah.
This makes you a better person. This makes you not so a good person.
Okay.
Yeah, then we negotiate.
Wow.
I'll say that's changed me, and that has impacted my work in the sense that I prioritize days to be home, involvement in dressing up in the morning, because it used to be like 45 minutes affair. With my involvement, sometimes it's 15 minutes or 10, or tells me he doesn't want me to dress him. And also evening, I purpose to be there. Oftentimes they don't recognize me that I'm home, but that awareness, checking in every 5 minutes, Dad, they complain, but has helped. Also, I understand people better. I think I understand my wife more because of him, because we are all different. I understand my other children, and I understand my colleagues. That's how I would say the impact.
Wow. Okay. A beautiful impact. Yeah. Pauline, Dr. Lagat has just mentioned the challenges with regards to balancing work and family. What about for you?
Oh,
Yeah.
tough. It's tough. Yeah, that one I would say it's not easy. Especially, for me, I'm in a service industry. Service industry can be very, very challenging. It's not easy. I mean, it's probably different because service industry is very demanding in terms of time and even the input that you give. So it can be very, very challenging. And for me, it was tough. I sometimes I don't even know how I managed some of these things. I always say it's God, because sometimes it's tough. Yes, and for us, even I work in a banking industry. It's even tougher because our targets are way, way, way high. The things you're expected to do, if you waste even one day, makes a big difference. So you can imagine you're here balancing that, and here whatever you have at home is also very, very different. Yes, so it was tough. It was a bit challenging, but I think also, in a way, I always say God cannot give you what you cannot handle. First, He gave you that job, and then 2, He gave you that child. So in a way, He knew there's a way. He'll give you the strength, or He will make it easy.
Okay.
That is, for me, what I would say.
Okay.
Yes.
He will give you the strength, or he'll make it easy. Okay. Yes. We will come back to that, because there's a point where I would like you to now tell us about what would you tell your younger self in this caregiving journey. But we'll come back to that, right? Okay. Millie, how would you say you've managed to balance work and home?
So at first, like she says, she's in the service industry. Me, I was right into it in the hospitality industry. And when we got the diagnosis, I remember I just mentioned to my brother. I work with my brother in the same company, and he just said, let's talk to the human resource manager. So he's in the human resource department. So he mentioned, so apparently our HRM knows about the situation. So she was she had so much empathy with me.
Okay.
So she sat me down, she talked to me one evening and she told me, number one, you've gotten the assessment? I said, yes, we did get that assessment and they say that she's in this level 2. And she said, okay, so why are you guys going for the therapy? I said, at the moment, we've only identified current hospital. And she said, fine. I want to tell you that us as an organization, we will support you in terms of the insurance. Once you exhaust your insurance, you just come to me and we will talk about it. So that was number one. Number two, my manager during that time. So I went to her and I told her, I need to do 3 therapies. And that means I have to remove her from school because it's very important that she has to be in school to gain her social abilities. So we remove her from school. We take her from school and send Ongatarongai. School on this other end. First Ongatarongai, get to Karen Hospital. Do your 1 hour. Then again,
Bring her back.
Take her back and then go back to work. So it reached a place. Some of my colleagues started complaining. They're saying I'm having like four off days in a week.
Wow.
So she called me and she told me, your colleagues are feeling like you're having too much off days. And I know it's that they probably think that you have the strength when if you're from the hospital. The next day they see you, they see that you are composed, you're okay. Inaweza kuwa mjamaa anatudanganya. You know, it seems like this lady is just lying or she's just not intentionalizing this thing. So at one moment, then the next year, apparently we were pregnant. So that pregnancy was a blessing in disguise. So when I'm pregnant, my pregnancy is one of the high risk. So at one point, I need to do what? I need to settle. I need to be on bed rest. Yes. So when Dr. Lagat gave me a bed rest and a letter to go to my organization, I just went to my organization and I told them, at this moment, probably I don't think I'll be able to do so. So I was removed now from the heart of hospitality. I was taken to now admin work. In admin work, I met my boss is a professor, an elderly guy. I mean, that guy he just said, okay, what are the days you need to go and take care of your daughter? I said. And for him, it's for as long the work is done.
Okay.
So for me, that was refuge.
Okay.
That was simply refuge. It means that you can get home early. You know, in hospitality industry, that Saturday, that Sunday, you're not there.
Yes.
You're waking up early. And by that time, I used to also teach. So I'm waking up early. In the evening, I'm teaching.
Wow.
I'm waiting for him. We're going home.
Wow.
So you're relying on this. You're relying on your domestic manager's report.
Nice.
So you've not been there. So me being there, probably since ever 2022, last elections, 2023, that really helped. Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yes.
Intense. Hans, and what about you?
I think for me, what I would say is what Pauline had said, that God extends graces to us. And probably he just understood that this journey will not be easy if he doesn't extend his hand. So I would say for me, the balance has been, in a way, made possible because of the flexibility of Millie, but also because of my sister Sharon, has been very instrumental in this journey.
Okay.
For some reason, her work is, I don't know how she does it, but it's very flexible. So she's really been filling in for us. But many times I've felt that strain because I also I'm in the very center of what our business is at SBS, particularly in executive education. So the operations part of just making sure all these programs are set and they can go. And so sometimes it essentially sucks your entire time. And so sometimes I have really felt I needed to have been there for the session. But the work was demanding and my presence was required. But with this balance, I've at least felt reassured.
Okay.
Even though I felt I should have been really there.
Okay.
It's just that in a way it's an escape, but you're left feeling a little bit empty that you should have been there to also support. So at least the Saturdays, I would do all of them. So I would do because on Saturday the therapy sessions were at 8. So it means we are leaving at 7. So at least I'll let Millie rest.
Okay.
So that at least now I also take her and we can go and do the sessions and come back maybe at 10 or 11.
Okay.
At least also so that I support, I provide the support and we can journey together in this. Yeah, but there are days I have probably we have missed a session because we are trying to balance everything, and you also we don't want a situation where probably someone at home then has to take a matatu, and I always feel that it's too hectic. So once in a while we've missed a session, probably try to compensate the following week, and sometimes we felt it's affected the consistency of her session.
Okay.
And it's because of just trying to balance it out so that still the work gets done.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day also we are also able to take care of this lovely daughter and see where her life can get to.
Yeah.
But also there's a financial burden to this. Because now you see the eating is not streamlined. So it means as we plan for everybody else, we have to also plan for her.
Yes.
We have to differentiate. If everyone else has the urge to eat chapati, we have to find an alternative of how do we also make chapatis for her so that flour,
gluten-free flour.
Gluten-free flour. I don't know how much it is, but I think it's slightly more even expensive than your 500 grams of eggs.
Wow. Yeah.
Or even now just the rest of the food items. But even the sessions, the occupational therapy sessions and the speech sessions, the time we're doing twice a week, and per session it will be about 7,000 to 8,000.
Wow. Per session.
Yes.
That's
so
intense.
I think like last year or the year before and the year before I depleted my medical
the outpatient one
allowance. I think once or twice PNC guys assisted me to borrow from the other side and bring it to this side.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think that strain is there, but in just trying to balance it out, I'm really grateful to my wife and also to my sister Sharon and Sheila, Billy's cousin, who has been very, very instrumental.
Wow.
In he's sort of is with Abby most of the time.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think that for me is what has probably enabled me to still deliver. Otherwise, I probably would have fallen apart.
Wow. Yeah, because that sounds very intense. And I'm imagining when the other kids are having chapatis, the gluten-free chapatis don't taste like the normal chapatis we know. So it's constantly going in to eat all the wrong things, right? And trying to streamline that, right?
Sometimes she just grabs,
The worst part is that if it is his or her favorite food. I think for mine, it is the favorite food.
Yes.
Yeah. So how do you manage that?
We've not been able to do that. we have refused.
This one is difficult.
Because the days we are not able to eat, we'll do bread and chapati. So how do we remove that from the
Wow.
Yeah. But is the impact visible that she has eaten bread and chapati or he has eaten bread and chapati? Is it something, once off it's okay, all right? Or
well, the struggle is some days he doesn't want to eat because sometimes he has no appetite. So you thank God he has picked that chapati, whether it has caused hyperstimulation, you don't care. Really?
that's another one.
Yeah, I mean, seriously.
Okay.
He stayed. This is a child who will not do snacks. People are taking sweets, chocolate.
Yes.
He smells, and once he picks it's a chocolate or anything else, he'll say no.
Cakes, he doesn't. Those are not his things.
Okay.
But chapati, yes.
Chapati, mandazi, anytime.
Okay.
So, what do you do?
Actually, he doesn't even take tea in the morning. So that is what he prefers.
Yes. Okay. So
The lesser problem.
absolutely. It is. So Hans and Millie has spoken about how their employers have supported them. Lagat, you work here at Strathmore. Yeah. Hans also works here. I'm curious to know how has Strathmore created a more inclusive and supportive environment for you?
Well, I'm a consultant here at Strathmore. I come in 1 day a week. And work demanded sometimes I'm here very early and leave late. With the growing needs to take care of my son, it has involved significant changes. I have had to talk to my director to let her know that I will not be available in the morning because I need to just be part of that process. And also, over time, I've had the courage to talk to my patients, and I think a number of times I've told me leave as 5 o'clock, I'm not available. Yes, why? Because I need to finish up. Because also when you close at 5 doesn't mean you go home that time. There's some bit of back office work you need to finish up with tying the loose ends. Some patients you've not documented, so you document and then you leave. So that I am home, at least either they are showering, because also sometimes he will refuse to shower. Just being present there as a dad, and I tell him all it's shower time can be of help to other people. Otherwise there will be a fight. And also eating time, trying to negotiate and see if he can eat, or just ignore him. It throws his tantrums, understand him, then he eats eventually. Because one of the big thing is also helping out to create a structure for him. If he can get to bed also, being involved in that can easily ease the life. Yeah, of course, when it's time to work, no one else will work. I have to do working. So Strathmore, that flexibility to allow me to come in that. And oftentimes I've missed morning meetings because primarily the morning meetings has come in handy. Other places I do work, maybe not so much. I've struggled, but it's I've had to make a choice. I've chosen family or him other than work. Right? That has put me in trouble, but it's life.
Yeah, it's nice showing up for him.
Yes,
it's showing up for him. And Hans, would you like to comment on that?
I would say I have not deliberately sought any arrangement. I have just worked with some little bit of flexibility and trust with the team. With sort of anticipating certain plans, they're sort of able to carry out the mandate. But also some level of, I would say some level of flexibility with my bosses has been very instrumental. So we don't have these very strict check-ins that sometimes then find you on the offside.
Yes.
So that I think has given me some level of freedom and responsibility as well, and just ensuring that where I need to be out, I actually am out. Like now recently we are taking halfway hydrotherapy all the way to Kasarani. So, I'm able to organize myself with my boss and know that at least on Thursday mornings, I would run a bit late, or sometimes I may completely not, because once we finish the session there, we can go back home, or probably take her to school, and and then coming back, it's already 1 or 2 in the afternoon. So it's just that tight balance. But I think the will is there, which is what I'm happy about. And I'm just hoping that probably a consideration can be made, especially on the financial part with the medical benefits, just so that there's, or rather, so I think our director here at the clinic has been working to see if we can get those services here. Like if we can get the OT here and probably the switch here, and a few others that are needed because there are many other parents who are taking care of neurodivergent kids.
Okay.
And the situations are different. So if some of those services are here and probably they are fairer, it takes off a burden on us.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think that's what I would say. But I think so far Strathmore has been very supportive. And even just the prayers, like there was a time when she got an accident. I think
she fell down and she got a fracture.
On her, I think right
leg.
Yeah, I remember even Father Paul saying a prayer for her at one of the masses. Yeah, so I think generally there's the goodwill. And even Catherine, she calls
Catherine
from PNC. I think because she knows of how we are faring, so sometimes check, ask how's the girl, how is life, how are we managing, what can we do, and she presses us to these breakfast meetings that
quite early also.
sometimes we miss, sometimes we are there, but it's part of it.
Okay, wonderful.
I would say it's been supportive.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. So now I'm listening to your stories, and I'm hearing Superman. It's almost like you guys are Superman and Superwomen, and have there been moments where you look back and you're like, wow, I never thought I'd be capable of this? And if so, please share which moments are these where you wonder, was that me?
Okay, for me, what I would say, for me, every moment, for you to understand it, if you have that child here, especially if you've never experienced, every moment for me is special. Because if I was to come with that child here, and even in a group, most of the time people will be looking at you, you should be doing this, because you need to control them most of the time. So you need to be that super every time. You need to be extraordinary every time. You need to gather that strength. And these kids are very strong, both physically and everything. You like me, I don't know whether because mine is a boy, but I know he's extremely strong.
Wow.
Yes. So you have to be on your toes anytime you're with that child. Yes, you have to know where they are, what they are doing at any given moment. So for me, I think every moment for me is, because every moment you're with that kid, even for the people I leave my kid with right now, I know they must be super within that time that they're with that kid.
Okay.
Well,
Dr. Lagat,
for me is similarly every moment is a super moment. I look forward to bedtime when he goes to bed, and I'm like, finally,
bedtime.
I can rest. And also, when he goes to school, when I bundle him up to the car and he leaves, I think I look forward to the day. It's not like I'm chasing him away. I'm like, first I wondered where I would release him to the world. So that ability to just let him go to school and not worry. In fact, I remember when I handed him over to school first day, I told they quoted to date. I told everyone, please, don't call me unless he's bleeding.
Yes, and they keep saying that.
I like that. Okay.
Well, it was somehow a coping mechanism, like I'm done. Okay, not really done with you. I'm like, I can't protect you.
Yes.
You need to figure out who you are. And I can't be the one to help you figure out who you are. I need other people to help me figure out who you are. And in fact, I remember at orientation, I tell them, this is my special child. Whether he learns or not, I'm not worried. So long as you survive, he comes home without a cut. Good enough. Yeah, so that those are the moments that of course interiorly you will battle is why me, why us, why now. But I have become aware of ordinary things. So ordinary things, awareness of the ordinariness of how precious those moments are.
Yes.
It could be just a breakfast, could be just dressing. It could be talking to him to calm down. It could be asking help from my wife or my daughter to calm him down.
Okay.
That's it. That's what I have to as a means for being better and helping my family to be better. And also helping teachers to be better to understand me and understand him. Yes, and this has also helped in family moments and meetings. We also have a nephew who is a non-verbal neurodivergent. So we look forward to those milestones and we look like everyone is doing better.
Wow. Okay. Very well.
I wanted to mention yesterday, he had not arrived home yet. Abigail was just sleeping. Then we woke her up and it was her time for dinner. And she just started throwing herself on the ground and she's screaming and she's screaming and she's literally screaming. And you're wondering, what can I be able to do?
We continue? Okay, so mainly you were explaining to us, that the moment where you step back and you're like, I never thought I'd be capable of this. Yes.
Yeah. I was giving an instance of yesterday night.
Yes.
She came from school, even her diary is like, she was calm, she was able to do this and this. Abigail was super. And then, because she was taking her evening nap, out of nowhere, she starts screaming and she's throwing herself on the ground. She has refused to eat. So you're here. So what might be the issue? What does she love to eat better? So we make it. She does not want to eat. Number 2. So what might be the issue? Is it the fever? I go check. No fever. So number 3, what can I be able to do? Now, because sometimes when she wants to tell me that, because she's yet to communicate, Mom, I'm having a headache. Mom, I'm having a tummy ache.
Wow.
So I know when she's having a headache and when she's having a tummy ache. So when she's having a tummy ache, she sleeps on the ground and she's literally weeping. So I'm like, so where? My pharmacy over here. Do I have anything that can basically can be administered to her? So I'm like, I really do not have one medicine for gas.
Okay.
At the moment, I don't have one for gas. So what can I be able to do? And she's currently having a flu.
Wow.
And she had a bacterial infection. So I'm like, okay, I understand that this type of antibacterial, is it antibacterial? Doc? Antibiotic, yeah? This antibiotic, this is wide range. This one will sort out if it's, it will sort out if it's a stomachache or whatever. But because she's in pain, paracetamol. So I administered the Panadol. And once I administered the Panadol, I administered the antibiotic. And then I did put for her favorite cartoon. So I just sat down, I put for her favorite cartoon because at the moment she's learning about numbers. So I did put that number blocks. And then she just went and sat down at the couch. And then she slept.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, this one I have done today. alone. Wow. I have achieved. Hey, that was a big moment. And she went and slept. She slept.
Wow.
And for her, if she sleeps twice in a day, you guys are going to have it rough during the night. She'll wake up in the middle of the night. She will now start telling us the stories. She's at the earlier stage. If somebody was chasing her yesterday, she'll say, kuja hapa. You will just hear all those stories throughout the night.
Wow.
So she slept. So for me, that was just amazing. I was just like, God,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hands over to you.
I think the reality of the number of people we've talked about supporting us just speaks to the fact that this is not an easy thing. And it is in these people that somehow we look like strong. It looks like things are okay. But the deep down in those moments of desperation, you just left wondering and helpless.
Yes.
Yeah, and sometimes you there were days I remember one time, I think my father was talking to one of my younger brother. The guy looked like he didn't want to do, I don't know what the old man was telling him, and I kept wondering why the old man was, it looked like he was trying to ask him politely. But there are days I have looked at Abby in her element, and I have said, I found myself just saying, we are sorry, because I'm feeling like probably there's something we've done to her, or probably there's something that we could do that we are not doing to help her out of her situation. You know, you're left really very helpless. Yeah, so I understood my father. Said probably sometimes you look at a child and you feel like probably you should be the one who is apologetic because probably there's something you should have done or you have not done. So there are those moments. But we've lived for the milestones. We've lived for the days we've tried to understand her, like the way Millie yesterday had that moment and she felt at least this one I understood, or at least this one I was able to provide something, or there's something I did. Yeah, but it's a journey. It's something you experience every day because you're not very sure how the day will turn out. Even when she goes to school, we keep asking, so how was today? Did she cry? What happened? Did she eat? Because each of these aspects of her life, it's important to sort of just know what happened today. Because there could be something, and if she comes back and Sheila says today she just had a good day, we all feel like we did something. We all feel like we share in that joy. Yeah, and when I think like one of the days when she came back from school and she was pulling the younger sister and chasing her around, and it's as if she could connect, and now at least it was a moment of play. We felt so happy because we were like, we will get there at some point. So really the challenges are there, and I'm sure the different families that have this special children go through situations. It's just that we have to find the strength, and I'm grateful to God that we find the strength to be strong for them, but also that God has placed these people in our lives who I feel in a way they are really contributing to making this journey a journey that is worthwhile, not bearable. Because we don't want to bear. These are our children. We don't bear for you.
You don't bear.
You want the best for them.
From what you're saying, this journey has also transformed you as individuals. Yeah, I remember Lagat saying he's become more and more understanding. There's a desire of wanting to show up more. Maybe the rest of you can comment on that. Yeah, we can start with you, Pauline. How has this journey changed you?
First and foremost, as a mother, the journey even of having a child transforms you. It changes you. Just a normal child. And I think this one specifically has changed my point of view of so many things. How I view people, how I view my colleagues, how I view my friends, how I view even a stranger. And for me, one thing about this one is I had never experienced anyone with a special child so close. So my child was the first for me. Yeah, probably it's because the society is unaware or anything, but I had never experienced that. So for me, I was getting into this, being the first time to experience and doing it.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was not easy, but it has really changed me on my view of everything. Yeah, those things that you'll probably initially look at and say, this person would have done this. But at least right now I know, probably not. It's not a must. Because sometimes you realize people are different.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so, those things that you say, this should be more of a common sense thing. It might not be common sense. Yeah, for me, that's what I have learned.
Okay. Okay. Millie?
For me, it's intentionality.
Okay.
So I'm basically intentional about my time with my children.
Okay.
When I arrive home, I know that each of them should at least have time with me.
Wow.
I am very grateful for the milestones. We're currently having a 6-month-old baby, and when she smiled, I'm like, yo, I'm happy. I am seriously happy. When you see one milestone that this child is able to, and currently Lela is counting, Lela is grasping, she's able to do some stuff. You're like, hey, thank you, Jesus. It has become even part of your prayer that, Lord, potty training, God, you just come through for us. We don't know how we can be able to connect this together, but it's only you who can give her the understanding to just go to the toilet and sit and say, I want to wee. Yeah. So for me, I do not take anything for granted. One, that the child is alive, the child is happy. And something funny that I also realized, maybe you're able to get, Pauline, you're able to get from your child, there's a gift that they do have. So for me, Abigail is quite an observer. So she'll observe, listen, and when she decides to speak, she will talk.
Okay.
So for me, I am able to see that, when she was born, my mom-in-law kept on calling her barrister, calling her lawyer. So I'm like, where? This dream of becoming one lawyer has to be actualized. So I will say that I no longer take anything for granted. I no longer sit at the table whereby you find other mothers or other parents are saying, or you find other people just saying that this child is indecent, this child does not behave well. That is my opportunity. I tell them, well, let me educate you. It's an opportunity for me to educate them. That, sometimes it's not about that a child should sit down. It's not about that a child should, if you see a child climbing up there, you're like, wait, calm down. Yeah, you're very indecent, you're very, you're not behaving very well. So it has been an opportunity for me to realize that we are different. We're completely different, and in our differences, we are actually good.
Okay. Okay.
I think for me, the important thing is just an appreciation of some of the challenges that parents go through.
Yes.
And especially an understanding of what it means when a parent has a special child. Yes, for me that I think is one thing. I think this experience really humbles you. It
does.
It really sometimes in the wholeness of life, you may take some things for granted. You really may not appreciate certain graces. I know one of the times in church, the priest would ask if anyone had something to be grateful or thankful about. And sometimes we're trying to think of that moment that you've had something very big, very unique, and I would say just being alive. And I think with these children, we are realizing that is really true.
Yeah, they're alive.
For them, every small thing, the fact that they can eat, we take eating for granted.
Okay.
But when you're struggling to see if this child can at least eat something. And sometimes the things they eat is, you can feel like this would not even hold in that stomach. Would it have been possible to just give her some proper food?
Okay.
Or maybe the fact that you really cannot tell whether she is unhappy about something. Yes, we don't know many things in this life. I think that's what we're just discovering in this journey, and we are appreciating that there's really a lot in many other people.
Okay.
And the value of just being able to relate well with everyone else, because they have that special place. This weekend, I was speaking to a gentleman. I was the best couple in their wedding, and so essentially I'm his best man. And he was sharing with me. I was actually just getting to know that they've discovered that their daughter is autistic, and so he was, I think, by virtue of having known that we already were on the journey, he was sort of asking me certain questions, and the dilemmas that they've been through, and some of the things they've already done. They've done the OT, and now they're going to the dark room experience.
Okay.
And I really felt I had nothing to tell him. I just listened. And by the end of the conversation, he was telling me that he's grateful we had the conversation, and I was wondering, what did I tell him? Because I really feel that there's nothing I told him that was really that important.
Yeah.
But probably I think it's what we are learning in this journey.
Yeah.
That sometimes people just need you
to listen.
And it's very comforting. Sometimes when you can just speak and someone can just listen and they don't interrupt, probably it's the therapy you need as a parent. Yeah.
I like that. I like how you put that, because that's the next question. I want to link that. Yes. Oh, please. Yes.
Lots of.
Yes.
Let me introduce something. This has changed me.
Okay.
And I'm a typical guy who will compartmentalize things. And over time, and this is how I started talking about my son.
Yes.
And the first person was Billy. We were in the clinic. She is my patient, but I started talking about things. Media averse. Ordinarily, I would not be here.
Thank you very much.
Having gone through this, raising my son, and also trying to opening up to people, Millie suggested I need to do A, B, C, D. She even booked my first appointment for neurodevelopmental assessment for my son, and I showed up. So, what are the consequences of this? I've had to ask women, because I was a gynecologist, consultant gynecologist. I've had to ask women how the other children are. And even when they're coming for non-pregnancy related issues, I ask them if I pick that they have a neurodivergent child, possibility for conceiving. I ask them to consider conceiving, because the greatest gift, as my wife says, for an autistic child is maybe a gift of another child. If a lady or a couple will consider that will help, because even if I look at our fourth born is a boy, and our second born is autistic. Well, he's young, but he supports him. He's able to go easy level, and sometimes I remember my children sometimes telling me, I'm too tough for this son of mine. The voice and protecting me. And I have to listen to that. So so showing up for the breakfast meetings, and it's just showing up for my son, and also for all other autistic children. And I think I'm shaping up most probably to go to advocacy. Okay. So that employers can identify. We need to do surveys in institutions that get to know the burden of autistic or neurodivergent children, so that we see what we can do. It might not be money, just idea of flexibility, and also it has helped me to understand my colleagues and students. The moment I'm teaching, I become almost laissez-faire, but I give students freedom and responsibility. The surprise is I don't need to run the administrative work of managing students coming in. Giving them freedom and responsibility has turned out very well, because I'm aware now I cannot control things.
Yes.
So therefore I cannot control students. Thank you.
Wow, I like the idea of the laissez-faire. So that means then the student is in class because they want to be in class.
Yes.
And I think more than anything, you notice that you'll have a full class a good number of times.
Most of the time, and no one leaves.
Fantastic. Very good. Okay, so going back to the conversation with your friend, right? Yes, you said you didn't know what to tell them, but thinking about your younger selves in this journey, what do you think would help someone who is starting off in this journey? What advice would you give someone who is starting off in this journey? What did you need when you guys were starting off in this journey? Hans, you can start us off.
I think the situations are very different. I don't know how different families get to know about these confirmations, or rather these situations, because the greatest pain at the start is just at least knowing or having a sense of direction.
Okay.
And I'm really happy that Dr. Lagat is taking this the advocacy way, because I think the awareness is very important. It's not just important for parents who have neurodivergent children, but I think the society in general. That way, then, when you notice a child who you probably out of knowledge or out of experience or expertise, then discover probably this child may be a special child in a particular form, that the knowledge then you get or that you have acquired through this awareness becomes important in supporting that parent. First on the awareness, and then two now on probably the places to start from. Because the confusion is normally at knowing what do we do with this situation we found ourselves with this baby, with this child. So I think the place to begin with is probably just to gather the information you can.
Okay.
And from wherever. Sometimes it's confusing because questions about, even the way you are asked when you go for some of these sessions with the experts, they take you down the history lane, and you're looking at your family lineage, the lineage of your spouse, trying to see have there been occurrences and stuff like that. But also in general, having to explain yourself probably to family or friends. Mtoto wako ni so funny, anafaa kuwa ameongea, kwa nini haongei? And you see, not many people know about autism or some of these other neurodivergent conditions. So I would say, for one, that information, then two, just pray, ask God for grace. Yes, so that when they ask, you will still answer and explain. Because the more you explain, the more aware they become. And next time they'll not ask.
Absolutely.
Because the more they ask, sometimes you might become frustrated. And maybe you, instead of going to those refreshing family get-togethers, you pull away. Or going for those gatherings, you pull away because you're avoiding the questions. You don't just want that one question. Kwa nini mtoto wako haongei? Why is it that your child can't speak and they look like, how old is he? How old is she? Yeah, so
Okay.
I would say that.
Yeah. So get the information, get involved in that conversation. This idea of pulling away will actually not help you.
Yes.
Okay.
Sharing is really important.
Okay.
As you, for a parent who's starting the journey, in a short time you realize it's a journey you cannot walk alone.
Okay. Yes, Millie.
I would tell her that she can do it, or he can do it. They can do it. And number 2, I think a lesson that I got was that I had just to sit down, and you're the only best advocate for your child.
Absolutely.
The very best advocate for your child. And number 3, I also realized that not everybody will accept them. It is the painful truth. Wait, when you start you're searching for schools. Not all schools will accept them because they feel maybe 1, they're a nuisance. Number 2, they don't have the capacity to do it. So you realize that it's only me who can accept this child, nobody else. So when you realize, when you're going to an institution and they seem they do not accept your child, you don't even feel bogged down about it.
Okay.
Yeah. And I would say the 4th one is, like my husband has touched on, is that you cannot do this alone. If you pull yourself away, I mean, you will be the most depressive mother. Every small thing that he or she does, you'll be feeling it's just on you. You're wondering, why me? Now, why? And you realize that even that strength that you would have just gunned up to assist your child, you really do not have.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Dr. Lagat?
For me, is you're not alone. You're not alone. I'll say that is the theme of my conversation will be that you're not alone. Many fronts. One, first of all, having been born as a parent, before you are formed, you are known by God, and therefore every path that you will tread has been predetermined or planned out, and therefore the consequence, even the child that you do conceive, was also before conception was known by God, and therefore it's not an accident. So therefore, I will ask that we look at we answer these great questions. Who are we? Why are we here? Why are we here with this child? And where are we headed? Where will this child lead us to? Or where are we headed with this child? And that will, if we try to have a glimpse of answers to this question, then it makes it very easy.
Okay.
And therefore, we contribute to supporting others. First of all, we need to generate evidence of our experiences. So we create various communities, either communities in the state, communities in the institutions we work, joint communities, cross communities, that is, it could be 2-3 institutions together. And also we need to create communities in the country, Africa, and the world, so that we collaborate and look at what we can do for children in this spectrum. But for a moment also, I think somehow all of us are in some spectrum of sorts.
As well,
so
yes.
It's just like our children. So those things we are struggling with and others could it be just we have not made a diagnosis? It could be some spectrum, only that we are much better than the rest. So we are not any better than the people with these children or these children. So we just like, this is their path. So yes, so I will encourage that they seek help and they have the grace of state to handle the circumstance.
Okay. Okay. Yes. Pauline?
For me, I would go with what Millie said. You must be the best advocate for these children because the rejection are all over. So it's up to you to decide what you want to do. Like for me, in my estate, my child plays with everyone. If you don't like it, that is your problem. Yes, you have to be the advocate for your child. I will explain But you have to, if you cannot accept, that is your problem, because you have to make sure your child also blends in. Yes, and I must say I'm very glad, because this year, last year, one of the major milestones, he's able to associate with kids in the estate. He initially he could not, but right now he leaves in the morning. You go look for him over lunch. He goes back, then comes back in the evening. When it's dark, he comes back and says it's already night. So what I would say is, you must be the best advocate. I mean, where my child is not accepted, I cannot go. That means I'm also not accepted. And that includes family. You know, you might think that there are families who don't accept. So where my child cannot be accepted, I'm also not accepted. So you have to be the best advocate for your child in whatever you do.
Amen.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Whether it's school, any institution. Yes, even church. I remember on Sunday where I sat with my last born is 11 months old. So where I sat, there was an autistic child, and he was screaming, doing everything. Then my 11-month also started screaming, copying exactly. And he was copying even in a higher tone. So everyone was like this. And I encouraged them to even scream. And we were in church. And people were like, what is wrong with this? But, I could understand that mother. My son sits with his dad most of the time. There's a way he's able to calm him better, especially when we're in places like church. So this mother was so overwhelmed, and then I encouraged, and then when the kid stopped being with her and came back and we was actually playing with my 11-month-old baby, and they were all screaming, and me, I was there encouraging them. People were looking at me like, what is wrong? And I didn't care. I was like, that is your problem. You either accept it or not. This is the situation. So we have to deal with it. And you as a society, you either support us, whether you support us or not, we will have to live there. They are there to stay. So there's no way you're going to take these kids.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I like
That's
that.
what I would say.
No one makes a choice
Yes.
as to what kind of children they get.
Yes.
So
True.
I think parents should extend the grace.
Yeah.
Parents who have not experienced this situation or experienced children who are special in this nature should extend the grace. And anytime you see, try find out.
Yes.
Yes, in as much as you may have the urge to want to just call out and say something, you just don't know. Okay. You don't choose.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So thank you for that. So where should this young parent plug in? Support groups. Tell me about the support groups, because I can imagine this journey can be lonely.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm imagining, have there been moments where you have felt misunderstood or not heard? Yeah. How would this young parent navigate this?
Okay.
Yeah. Millie, you can go ahead.
Because I am big on advocacy in terms of where to start. And just recently, my thoughts were realigned. And my thoughts were realigned because I realized that in this country we have a facility that nobody really shouts from the mountaintops. That there's such a good facility whereby, and it's for free, you get assessments for free. I've also realized that we have doctors and experts who just want to just milk you. They're taking advantage of the situation. They're just saying this is an opportunity and we can get the best out of this opportunity. So I would say that because we realize we do not know where to start from or where to go to, I would say the first step people should go to KISE, Kenya Institute of Special Education. When you get there, it is free. You go get that assessment for free. You are taken through. You're even told to go to which particular doctor. Even if you're looking for a school, they already have a list of schools that they have partnered with where you can go and even take your child to. Number 3, even the therapists. They will tell you this is the therapy that we would want. And they basically tell you that, before your child comes down, there's no way your child can go to speech therapy, which is opposite of what we get into this other world. We are told, come, let your child start speech therapy and occupational therapy, which is obviously not.
Okay.
So that is a place whereby there's research is being done there. There are experts there.
Okay.
So once you get from there and you realize that they can give you that occupational therapy for free, they can give you that speech therapy for free, it is up to you now to come and sit down and say, okay, maybe because as we live in the other side of the world, we'll be like, no, because maybe Kiserian is far, we can, maybe Kise is far, we can try once a week and we blend in where we can get this occupational therapy.
Okay.
so that we can just beef up. So it is very important. And once you get to Kise, the community comes in.
Wow.
And then we went there and you realize that you are not alone. You go there, you find that the range is quite big, not only in the neurodivergent, you know, guys are coming for these therapies. And you realize that a mother is there, that mother is sharing and she's like, it is my son's birthday, I'm wondering where can I get a gluten-free cake? Another mother tells her, no, me, I bake, I do this. There's a community. Or how can I get my child to potty train? So you get to know, you know, this is Mama Kimani, this is Mama Angel. So out of there, you get a community.
Okay.
Number 2, plugging into a community. And the communities are so many. And I realized that once you start speaking, communities just come through for you.
Okay. Can you mention some of them?
So like the one that really came in through for me was the Autism Society Association in Kenya, or of Kenya, is in the Facebook page. Out from the Facebook page, they have now chapters. They have Rongai chapter, they have Kiserian chapter, they have Ngong chapter, they have Langata chapter. So guys plugging into those groups. Number 2, we have now the different abled.
Differently talented.
Different talented. Now the different talented now is now for the PWDs as a whole umbrella. You join in. The other third one that I actually joined in was the Through the Roof. So Through the Roof now is more, let me say, faith-based. They believe in God first, and they believe in the faith of those who are around you, because it comes actually from the scripture in Luke that when Christ looked at the faith of those who are lowering down their friend, he said, you are healed. So we're looking at it in the aspect of all of us together. And number 4 was one with Neno Ndiema. Now it's called Faith Speaks, whereby we basically believe that, you know what, there's nothing that can supersede God's strength in all of it.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay, beautiful. Okay, Dr. Lagat.
Well, I think they have spoken.
She has said quite a bit.
So the one thing that I would suggest is that hopefully we have some tailored groups created in institutions like Strathmore, wherever everyone. So you can't wait to just plug in existing organization or associations. It's our responsibility to create association wherever we are, so that you might help persons or people who are struggling and speaking up or showing up for their sons and daughters. Of course, collaboration will be big, so inter-association collaborations will help, so that we don't need to reinvent the wheel in some things. What we will do is just to diversify and also increase access to other places. That's what I would say.
Okay.
And I think for all of us, it is incumbent upon us to be aware of neurodivergent issues, so that we are able to pick staff who are struggling, they are neurodivergent themselves, and also staff who have children who are neurodivergent. That will help a lot. And also, as individuals and institutions, to be aware of how to plug these people that we come across.
Okay.
That will be my
Okay. So wherever you are, form your community.
Yes.
Here in Strathmore, there is a community.
Yes.
And I'm happy you're all part of it. Pauline, would you like to add anything else?
Yes, I would like to add. Yes, plug into a community, because like me, I know one of the biggest for me was the community I formed within my work. It has been the greatest, and our employees currently really supporting it by providing therapists and even doctors. They're also working on probably providing. It's something they're working on probably to start providing probably those services. But I think one of the things that the community helps in, it's now not about the child, it's about you. Because as a caregiver, there's something that most people don't know. There's the mental and physical and social. And most of the time, you need counseling. Yes. Absolutely. So what these communities will help you with, you'll be able to get counseling. Like us, we have a counselor, a full-time counselor that does that every time we meet once a month. And actually, if you are to get into that room, it's a room where we put tissue or serviette there. You're allowed to cry. You're allowed to tell your story, and no one will judge you, and it will not leave the room. It's just a room where we tell our stories. And what we say is, we share, but most importantly, one thing we decided to do is us first, because you cannot care when you yourself you're sick. You cannot be a caregiver if you yourself you're sick. So you need to be well for you to care for someone. So that is one of the things that the groups really help. It helps you in terms of emotional well-being. Yes.
Oh, that's good. That's a point that is actually overlooked.
Yes.
Quite a bit, that in order for you to accept and to take on the journey, you need to heal first. Yeah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I would like us to start winding up. Yeah, and if the listeners could take away just one thing from this episode, what would you hope it would be? You can start with your hands.
I would probably say two things. One is hope.
Hope.
And two is resilience.
Okay.
Hope because nothing is assured and nothing is clear. You live for the moment, you live for the day, and you have to do your best every day. Resilience because, as Pauline said, you need the staying power. You need the grit to take you through this, so that you are strong. You every day you emerge stronger for this child. Every day you emerge stronger, because as we are beginning to realize, even other parents who are joining the circle need the strength. They need someone else who is stronger, that they know they can call. I really feel so proud that that Millie was able to support Dr. Lagat, because for us, we know Dr. Lagat is our doctor.
So he's your go-to person.
Yes, he's our go-to person. But I mean, in such a situation, you see how important it is to be already strong, to be resilient on your own as a caregiver, as a parent, because probably another parent that you've not met actually would need you with the child.
Okay. Very well. Hope and resilience. Millie?
One thing that I would want my listeners, because maybe they they can be in situations that they're either affected or they have one person inside their families, or they know one person, I would say that check up on them. Just check up on them.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Check in, find out how they're doing.
How they are doing, how they're holding up. And we don't need necessarily for it to be financial.
Yes.
Just a call. That reassurance that you are doing a good job. Yeah. Sometimes we fumble with am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? So that reassurance comes up.
Okay. Very well. Dr. Lagat?
To me, caregiving is not just a duty, but it's just a path of figuring your life. Figuring who your child is, figuring who you are, and figuring what you're meant to be in this world. And oftentimes it's likely to realign several things. One, you're likely to realign your relationship with work, and your relationship with friends, and even relationship with family, so that these children demand your attention. And oftentimes anything that disrupts that attention is likely to be put at bay. So to my listeners, the process of caregiving is not just like an employment where you show up to work, but it's a call, it's a path that changes everything. And you're likely to discover many things about yourself, about your child, and about people around you.
For me, what I would say to anyone listening to this is be kind, caring, and support. Why would I say that? Support, basically, if you go somewhere and probably realize somebody has a special child, you realize most of the time to go on a standing mode. Just offer to help. Just say, can I take that child maybe for 20 minutes? You'd have done what that person needed for a whole day. Yes, so just support, even with your words. Yes, so be kind, caring, and supportive.
Okay. Yes. Thank you very much. Now, and how can our audience connect with you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, your working meals.
Yes.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yes.
And now from there,
For
relationship
me, I'm
can be
in
built.
LinkedIn. I'm in Facebook.
Yes, okay.
Wherever. So Moses Kipchumba Lagat. You'll get me there.
Okay.
Just do a quick intro that you listen to this podcast and you wanted to connect.
Okay.
Easily reach out.
Okay.
Me too. I thought about starting this journey, and I thank God that at one point I had shared with you, and I thank God that Strathmore was realigning with one of my dreams for this year. That I really want to be big on advocacy. I really did not know how to do it, but I thank God for this platform. So one, I know I do share. I really do share on my WhatsApp status. If you look at my WhatsApp status, it's full of PWDs across. If a child is lost, if there's a training. So yeah. Number two, I also try to share it on my Instagram page and on my Facebook page. Thank you, Daktari, for mentioning LinkedIn. I think it's also good to actually be great in advocacy, more so in a corporate world where people only talk about jobs and jobs challenges rather than also caregiving challenges. Yeah.
Okay. So where can we find you?
At the moment,
Yes. You're on LinkedIn, you said?
I'm on LinkedIn.
Yes.
Just Mildred Awino Njane.
Mildred Awino Njane.
Yes.
Okay. Very well. For you, Pauline?
I would prefer email.
Email.
Yes,
Okay.
on my Gmail,
Okay.
or even on my email.
Okay.
Yes, and this one thing before
Yes.
you close. Personally, I would
Yes.
say thank you to Strathmore, because I remember when we were looking for a school. One of the things the school told us is, some of our kids who are special have been accepted by Strathmore University. That is big for us as parents who know we have. For me, that is big, because that is not something most universities will do.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Very well. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Yes, and for sharing and for being vulnerable. I've learned a lot from you guys. So, looking forward to bigger things.
Sure.